It's Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. This is Podraza for the umpteenth time. You might remember it under Pat Middlecoff. I have been called a cunt there in Maine and straight through Massachusetts. This should have straightened out a long time ago. You still working? Are you? What about that Claire issue who was chosen that you wouldn't answer me at that point of pet issue? I'm going to tell you what kind of degree did she get through the wealth a long time ago when I was in that office, and how you lost weight. I'm going to tell you, I don't want to hear any more about cunt or this subject ever again. I tried to call you in Massachusetts due to an employment issue, backwards in time on this. And I don't want to hear about some damn Janice, I'll tell you, on that subject. Or Polino, get it straightened out, he's probably dead. I want it wiped out. I was never a gay. A cunt is what I was called. Well, yeah, at your age. This is Podraza again. Most of them are dead. Irving Frank is deceased. To my knowledge, I'm not sure about Robert Savage's situation, what the story is on that here. And I'm going to tell you, since you're still practicing, you have to straighten it out in 3 states. That I'm not a cunt, and that I don't know what Claire was. You weren't answering me at all. You deemed never to answer me due to somebody or other. Somebody that you ended up begging on the phone at Dr. Pett's office, and had a sliding door in Brantford and a new office in Glastonbury that I thought would be an interesting community for you. You have to clear it up. I was called a cunt straight through. I read it in Massachusetts. And I had a nutcase standing outside of a hotel saying I abandoned my children, and if it affects you, with Dr. Ronald Goldman, who still probably will not call him, in Brookline or Chestnut Hill, then you've got to take care of that also, and you have to take care of Maine. Now, this is my phone number. I do not need you as a husband, and I do not want a therapist. I do need a husband because I'm single. Now, I'm not trying to bust up marriages. I was known not to, and then I've been called a cunt and an affairer for as long as I can remember. So my phone number in Maine is, should you have a difficulty with Claire or somebody there. I am in Auburn, Maine. I have 2 children in Massachusetts. Clear it up. And I don't want to hear about Barbara Judd Murphy and hysterectomies as a birth control method or whatever she deems it to get rid of menstruation. Either straighten her out. This is Podraza. I'm also given a choice of affairing or making it with a female. Now, once somebody hollered about it, that I'm no lesbian, and that is, at least is correct. Now, I don't know who you are, but I've got another 203 number, and I get bogus phone numbers all the time. If you talk to me, it's going to be audited by the other side, and I can't do anything about that. I was put in here and audited by the wrong element, and I cannot do anything about it. For my children, I want this straightened out. I suffered a major stroke or heart, and I was resting, and I have to do that. I'm up early and I'm prepared. This is more than one sentence I'll tell you on this. I've got a list of names of Maine that I feel are good. You wanted that. Massachusetts, and Connecticut, and one is here. I've got degrees. I have got theories on something. Are you ready for it? If Dr. Casey can deal with me, other than the sound of that voice. I'm going to have to bring him back in time as to a point in time. If there is a doctor, and that is not by hypnosis, Mauricio, and she is part of that. I must deal with a male. Absolutely, Dr. Casey. And I don't mind a female on this. There are physical reactions that I can't account for either. This is serious stuff. Now, if you are of that, I know what Peter Pryor would not have married at a point in time. It's a long time ago. I'm 74. That was in my 30s. 40, he was married. Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't want any more problems with grammar school also. Not returning phone calls. I am for that boy. And talking to him and my daughter, if I can. I am for a husband who's able to be one if there's one divorced. I am not of this ups and downs, married for life and hate each other and War of the Roses. Now, that is where I'm at. I'm not for opposites attract. So you can begin with that. If you remember who you are, you may speak to me. If not, I'll try to deal with you. Take you backwards in time to what I remember, when I could speak to you. Pat Podraza, Pat Middlecloth, one in this. It's Pat Podraza. I'm not making any of this up. Middlecloth, I take a risk by even trusting you right now. I have the list in name. It's fairly long. Of those I have trusted for one thing or another. I've been in the world primarily of reading minds. And that has to be said also. It's done with a sound thing. It's tied to the air conditioner, and it isn't always kind for us. In fact, I would have debriefed some of the brains. Now, this is serious for me. I take a risk. Now, I can, if you call at that time, I'll take the risk. And I will hope that God and the dead take me through this. My father and the dead, you see, I have an unusual philosophy on that also. And my father is not a Nazi, nor my mother. No, and my father's rules, 10 commandments. There is several arenas we go by. Factual, psychological, psychiatry answer on this physically. We are dealing with a cult within the realm of psychic ability, which I won't touch with a 10-foot pole. We have several planes we have to go over. And what I did to look for employment in 3 states, several arenas. You wanted heritage research? Thank you. I don't have the money for $100 and those kind of solutions. I have the Krasnals at the end of this that might be willing to speak to you. I hope you are trustworthy. This is for my children and for the fact that Melanie and I have been out of touch with each other. Only maybe 7 or 8 times at the most when they were a little older, and then with the children, and they're no longer that. Without their mother, I'd like that healed. I am looking to mate with a gentleman who's divorced or had a lukewarm marriage, who has no philosophy that you stay married under the terms I've told you. Much to discuss, but the minutes are shy on this phone. It's now less than 683 because I've left these messages. I make information calls. It brings up my phone bill up. I am telling you what I have, $38.39 in principal or savings, and I have to take some money out for air conditioning and food by tomorrow. It's Friday. Pat Podraza left you some emails in the night, plagued with nightmares, so I was up quite a bit. Haven't heard from my son this week as yet, and that always plagues me, usually texts me that he's all right. We know this issue, and I'm doing as you have said, and your husband. Yeah, I have to give you my anxiety. Don't let me down on this. That's the first plus I've had in a long time. Much I looked at. The first reference, I have check marks on what I feel are problematic in my situation. And also, there is an article, German versus Austrian. Where was Hitler born? That confused the issue also. I have to go to the bank. I have to get a bus pass, and I have to get some groceries. I've had lunch already. I have to work that food at odd hours. Have a good day. And uh, much cheerfulness to you both today. That made my day.